Hey, hi everyone. So we will start the session at 8:30. Just do let me know if you can hear us out and if there is any problem with the audio or if you cannot, if there is any static in the audio or if you can hear the background noise, then do let me know in the chat window. I'm just checking the chat as such. Or if you cannot, if there is any static in the audio. Sorry. So we'll start at 8:30 at the scheduled time. And in the meantime, please do introduce yourself. Do let me know about your background, any expectation which you have from us, any if you are targeting the certification, and in which tools do you work with. Do you know what is data engineering? Have you worked on any tools as such, or are you a data scientist, or this is something new which you are learning? So please do let us know about all those things, right? Introduce yourself in the chat window. Okay, so Kishore is saying I'm a mainframe person moving to Azure cloud. Okay, that's great. Amit, I work on ADF and Databricks and Power BI. That's amazing. So we will start at 8:30, guys. In approximately in exactly 12 minutes as such. And sorry for the background noise. I was just checking the stream. So I think the audio is all clear. Please introduce yourself. Do let us know about your background. Any specific, any uh, any expectation which you have from us. I hope you have the agenda with you. I'll just walk you through what we are covering today, right? And we keep on doing these sessions as such. Couple of around 15 days back, we had DP-100 Data Scientist on Azure session, and if you have not seen that one, it's now available on. It's published on YouTube as well, and it is also published on Tech Scalable's LinkedIn page. So you can have a look at that stream which we did around 15 days back. And the next one is scheduled for 15th, and that's on full stack Azure developer. So to get more information about that stream, please be in touch on the LinkedIn page and you can join us over there. Okay, Priyant is saying I'm planning to appear for this certification soon. Okay, when are you planning? Is it this month, next month? Okay, Ashwar is saying I'm currently working as tech support associate, but moving towards the cloud platform. Okay, now any pros and cons which you, so those who work with the cloud platforms, which cloud is your favorite cloud, right? Or do you all the clouds are same? For me, I feel all the clouds, they provide the same functionality. It's all about you can say different configurations, but they are seems to be. So if you have any specific fondness towards any particular cloud, I work in Azure, GCP, and I work somewhat in AWS as well, in SageMaker, in machine learning. We will start in 9 minutes, right? Till that, please introduce yourself and let me know about your background. I'll just mute myself for a couple of minutes. Okay, we have a couple of people saying Azure. Okay, why Azure? Uh, hey, hi Savio. How are you? Okay, so Azure for the console. Okay, Azure console. Cosmetic, yeah, it's very, you can say it's different from other clouds. Yeah, that's correct. Azure, IBM Cloud, and AWS. Okay. Prathamesh working on MSBI, Power BI, ADF, Synapse, planning to give the exam. Okay, when are you planning that? Data analytics, quick view, Power BI, Python. Okay, since for the big data solutions, Azure is leading and driving the digital transformation journey. As far as the another Priyanth is saying, as far as the data platform is concerned, I think Microsoft has more holistic strategy by bringing Synapse as full lakehouse product. Yeah, Synapse is becoming very big, right? Synapse, they're pushing. You can say everything is getting converged into Synapse. Sunil, we are in process of using Azure Data Lake for cyber analytics. DP-203, it covers data factory, data bricks. Yeah, correct. DP stands for data platform. 203 is the new certification. The old one was DP 200, 201. They both, you can say, will get expired. And 203 is the single one certification where both of them will converge into. So we will start at 8:30 in 6 minutes. In the meantime, those who have just joined, please do introduce yourself in the chat. Do let me know about your expectation. Okay, so 51 already joined on LinkedIn, and we also have people joining in YouTube. So, guys, just both we are live on both the platforms, LinkedIn and YouTube. Sometimes what I have seen that at times the LinkedIn stream goes sub HD. So if something like that happens, you can switch to YouTube stream, right? YouTube is pretty consistent with their quality of the stream. Just one FYI, it may happen. It happened during the last stream which we did. Okay, what are missing in 203 when we compare to 200, 201? Not 203 is very different from 200, 201. Approximately, they have added around 45% of topics. 45% of new topics will be there, if not 50%. They have totally changed the certification. It is focusing a lot on, you can say, Synapse is one of the central solution. I want to understand how training community is planning uh, for hands-on lab for this exam. Yeah, so during the COVID time, hands-on lab, they are not hands-on lab is not coming as such. So that is something which is even we are waiting for that. It was easy to give, you can say, go through the lab versus theory part. The certification, you can complete the certification way early versus when you have only theoretical certification, that's very long. Okay, so we will be going live in next 4 minutes, meaning we will start with the webinar in next 4 minutes. In the meantime, please introduce yourself. Do let us know about your background, your expectation. Today we will be solving one case study. Along with that case study, we will be learning topics which are relevant for the DP-203, right? So we will discuss the scenario, and then we will relate the topics with the scenario, and we'll see how what type of questions will be coming in. You can say exam question. We won't be solving the exam questions today, but we will be taking the topics as such. YouTube stream link. Okay. Let me put that in the chat. So YouTube stream is also there in the chat now. Okay, so let's read a couple of more chats. Sunil is saying that. Okay, manager from Deloitte. Intune, okay, mobile device management. Through Data Factory. So there is Ashish is saying doing DP-900 before 203 will help. Yeah, definitely. If you are new to the data platform, 900 will be the first step, and then 203 after that, which is 203 is very different from 200 and 201. Those who know about that, if you already have prepared or maybe read about those certifications, then let me just adjust my headset. Hang on. So we will be going live in next 1 minute. There is one question saying that did they have they removed anything from 200 to not one? No, they have not removed it. They have added new topics over there. Okay, so I think we are on time. Kopal, let's start.
Yeah, Shivam, it's 8:30. I think we should start, and we see good amount of participants also joined in. Hello everyone. I hope you all are safe and fine in this pandemic situation. Just to give you a quick, brief introduction about our company, Tech Scalable. Tech Scalable is a training and a consulting firm. We are a Microsoft Silver Learning Partner, and we specializes in cloud containers and data technology. And as you all know, that today Shivam Sharma is a speaker for today's webinar. He is a cloud architect, trainer, and a founder at Tech Scalable. Just to give you a quick brief intro on his profile, he is passionate about evolving technology and works on Azure, Google, and AWS cloud, machine learning, and blockchain. Shivam comes with a lot of training and a consulting experience. He architects solutions on cloud as well as on premises using wide range of technologies. Today he will be presenting a webinar on DP-203, that is data engineering on Microsoft Azure. Over to you, Shivam.
Thank you, Gopal. So let's get started. Okay, so the screen seems to have been okay. I think the screen is looking fine now. And let's go through the agenda which we are covering today. And I'm pretty sure most of you have been there in the previous sessions which we do. Maybe it's on data science or data engineering, or maybe Azure administration, architecting, or DevOps, Kubernetes. So basically, what we are doing today, we will be going through one case study. The way I would like you guys to pick up data engineering is, you can say, mostly practical way of picking it up, where you understand the scenario, you understand what has to be done, and then based on that, we will learn the need first and the technology which will be solving that, and we will pick up the important points for the certification. Now, I personally recommend you to uh, you can say certification is something which happens on the way, and the learning part is something which is where the fun is there, right? It's pretty interesting to learn new things and so on and so forth. I hope that's same for everyone. And we will be going through one case study first. I will explain the scenario what we are solving. This is the same pattern which we have used in previous webinars as well. Hopefully you guys will like it. We will understand the difference between lambda and delta lake architecture. We will understand bronze, silver, gold architecture, that what type of tables are these. uh, we'll also go through the data factory. I have mostly hands-on demos for you. It's a pretty big long deployment, so you will be with me for next you can say for 40 45 minutes of 50 minutes. We'll be just doing some hands-on. We will understand the scenario, we'll deploy something. And those who are new to the cloud platform, with the concept surrounding the hands-on surrounding the concept, or the concept surrounding the hands-on, in that approach, I hope that will make sense to you, and it will you will learn, and you will get started with data engineering on Azure platform. We will also pick up the star schema. We will talk about the stream processing solution. We will also talk about Synapse and what is Spark Pool, and what is dedicated SQL pool, what is Spark Pool, and so on and so forth. What different options are there, and what do we do? We will also focus on the certification, and there is one quiz as well at the end of the session. So for the quiz, you have to wait till the end. Now, what are we giving today? Thanks to Pact and Microsoft, we have a lot of giveaways for this session, and these giveaways will be based on the quiz which will happen at the end. So those who are looking for getting the distributed data systems with Azure Databricks book from Pact, we are distributing, or actually Pact is distributing 10 ebooks and 3 printed books. So the winners of the quiz will be given these 13 books in total, 10 ebook and 3 printed. So for that, wait till the quiz at the end. Apart from this, there is another giveaway. Uh, there are 2 certification vouchers which we are distributing today. Again, for the quiz winners, you will get 2 vouchers. Apart from those 13 who got the books, 2 certification voucher as well. And this is sponsored by Microsoft. So thanks to Pact and thanks to Microsoft to distribute all these giveaways and help the learners, you can say, during this time. Okay, so let's understand the problem statement and based on the problem statement, I'll describe the various services which you need to know from the point of view of data engineering. And so we'll try to keep the interaction as hands-on as possible. We'll try to do a lot of demos, and I don't want to do death by slides. I'll also use whiteboard in middle to explain you various steps which I'm doing over here, right? So those things will be there. So that the scenario is about a company called as Margie Travel, and this company basically offer travel. It's basically a travel agency which is basically a travel agency which is based out of which is having multiple offices throughout the globe, and uh, they provide all type of services. They book your flights, they provide accommodation, they book your hotels as well, they pick up you from the hotel to the airport and vice versa, and so on and so forth. So they work in a market which is very crowded, so they are looking for data analytics to provide them with best uh, you can say to provide them with an edge in the market against the competitors. So the scenario is regarding this company, and one of the requirement which this company is having is that they want to predict the delay in the flight. So in case your flight is going to be delayed, they want to let the business customer know ahead of time that your flight is delayed by 6 hours. Don't reach the airport early. You can spend your precious time with your family, and then you go over there when really the flight is ready to take off, uh, like this. So this is what they want to do, right? Now I'll just walk you through the data points which we'll be having. We have approximately 2.7 million rows with us, but this is today we'll be just picking up couple of GBs of that, not the entire data. But if you see, I have this weather forecast data with me. I'll just walk you through the data first, right? Tell you the scenario later on. Like there is a particular flow to the data as well, and we'll be doing many more things. But just to get you familiar, just to make you familiar with the data set. This is one of the third-party data set which we have, where we have temperature is there in Fahrenheit, Celsius, low temperature, high temperature, wind condition, in miles per hour, in kilometer per hour, degree of the wind as such, the crosswind, humidity, and so on and so forth. All the things are coming into picture. So apart from this, before I take you further to other data sets, I have three more data sets with me here, here, and here. Right? Just want to quickly deploy something in Azure because I don't want to spend your time into uh, you can say later on when the deployment happens. I don't want to spend your time into we don't want to wait at the script running at that stage. We don't want to wait at that stage, right? So basically I will just open one notepad, and I just want to show you a couple of scripts which I have written. When if you are targeting the certification, I recommend that you do everything manually, but today I'm just running one script, and hopefully this script will run pretty in a smooth in a smooth manner as such. So I'm just creating a resource group here, and I'm creating one on-premise virtual machine. So Margie Travel also, I'll explain this further, but Margie Travel, this travel agency, they also are pulling data from various customer locations. So uh, because of that pulling of data from various customer location, they basically need some ingestion. They need an ingestion layer solution which can pull the data. So they are looking for things such as data factory, or maybe something like some sort of Apache Uzi, or maybe SSI as not as any other thing which can sort of ETL pipeline or ELT pipeline. That's basically they are looking for that in batch mode. So for that we need on-premise location. Now I'm not using my laptop for to install the agent. I'm not using my laptop and installing the agent over there. So I'm just creating a virtual machine, and this virtual machine is what I am calling as on-premise virtual machine. And this is in Azure only, but we'll assume it to be on-prem, and it will have internet, one public IP address, and basically when we'll install the agent, it will resolve, and we will work with it. Right now, apart from this, I'm creating one Databricks workspace, which is an Spark cluster, which is a Spark cluster basically, but we'll be talking about that in later phases. I'll just make it right now, right? I won't be going into it, but I'm using a trial version of the Spark cluster. Trial version, they actually Databricks Spark provides 14 days of free trial. So that too of the premium grade cluster where role-based access control can be integrated. RBAC means the you can say Azure Active Directory RBAC. So we are using that, and I'll be creating one storage account, which is an object storage with 500 terabytes of upper limit as such, and the name is this, and the location is East US. And apart from that, I am also creating, I'm just extracting the key of it, and I'm creating one container inside that called as Spark container. This container means container is just an collect. So container is a collection of objects. Object store stores object. Object contains three things: URI, metadata, and data. So that's FYI. You can go into this later on. And data fact, we are making one data factory. We'll talk about this later on. But the name is ADF Tech Webinar in this manner, right? So let's copy till here, and let me take you to the. Let me adjust my microphone. It seems to be not taking the audio properly. So I'm just going to go to my Azure portal, and we'll start the Cloud Shell, which is basically Ubuntu VM at the backend, and it doesn't seems to be connecting. So let's refresh the full page and just give it a couple of more seconds to connect. Right. Oh, great. So now let's just paste that what we have copied, and this one will just create the resource group, and here it will it needs to I need to give the password over there. Now I will just try to give the correct password, otherwise I have to also show you how to reset the password later on. So I hope it is running now. Yeah, okay, that's great. So once this machine gets actually we should have copied the entire code. Now I will also be copying the rest of it. Once this machine comes up, we'll just copy this entire thing and we'll run it in one go, and we'll discuss about those services, and then parallelly we'll come back and see whether it has finished running or not. So let's just wait for this VM to come up. It should not take couple of more than couple of seconds for it to come up. And let me just duplicate my screen and open couple of instances, so I don't have to minimize the cloud shell, and we can just use this over here and do rest of the things in the other instance. Okay, in the meantime, just instead of waiting over there, let me take you back to the uh, little more details which I have over here about the data. We have three more tables apart from that first one: airport codes. It contains the airport ID, the airport you can say codes as such, display airport name, latitude and longitude of the airport, flight delay with airport codes, and we also have flight delay with weather forecast. I have more details about this data in my notepad. I will just copy that for you and just walk you through the data set once, right? So let me just paste it over here. So uh, okay, so we don't want to change that, so let's put it here. Okay, so just to walk you through the attributes a little more, we have there is International Air Transportation Association. That's one terminology being used. We have various carriers over here, code assigned by IATA and commonly used to identify the carrier to whom with you want to fly as such. Origin of the airport, destination airport, CSR departure time in local time, the departure delay, difference in minutes between the scheduled and the actual departure times. Early departure show negative values as well. That will happen, right? Some of the values will be negative there. Now apart from that, we will have departure delay 15. Now this is basically a boolean value where 0 1 will be there. 1 represent more than 15 minutes of delay, 0 represent less than 15 minutes of delay. CSR arrival time is also see if your let's say if the departure was delayed, then arrival may also be delayed because of that, or maybe the flight or the airplane may be able to cope up with the on the way. That may happen, right? So there are other attributes as well. Difference in minutes between the scheduled and actual arrival time, and arrival delay in 15. whether the arrival was delayed or not. Apart from this, we have whether the flight was cancelled or not. That detail is also there. And from the weather data, there's, and this is the JSON file which I was showing you before. There are multiple attributes there. Uh, Airport ID, year, month, date, time zone, sky condition, visibility, weather type, and dry bulb Fahrenheit, and so on and so forth. This basically means uh, the temperature of the air. That's what it relates into. So dry air temperature, wet air temperature, and so on and so forth. Value of wind character and record type, sea level, precipitation, pressure changes, pressure tendencies, station pressure, and so on and so forth. So this is the data which we are dealing with. And let me just quickly see whether that deployment succeeded or not. So we can just copy the rest of it and just run it, and we'll continue with the slide deck there. So if I just take you back to the Azure CLI, I think now it will keep on going on. We'll just press enter a couple of times. So all the code which we have copy pasted after this line also executes in the same flow sometimes. If you don't press enter, the cursor will remain on the last command which has executed, which was supposed to be executed but will not execute. So we'll just keep it on one side and let's continue, right? Now, if I just walk you through the requirement a little more. So the main requirement of Margi travel comes over here in this slide where we are doing the risk assessment of the delay, like the delay risk assessment to customers, whether their flights will be delayed or not. So if the flight is going to be delayed, we'll suggest to them that please be on, you can say, come to the airport after some X amount of time. You don't have to be there early, and spend your time with your family, right? I'm pretty sure you understand the when you, if you travel a lot like me before the current times, uh, life was getting we were, you can say, we were just traveling, spending the entire the in the checkout, check-in, waiting for the luggage, uh, and just thinking about the flight, leaving home 3-4 hours earlier or maybe more than that to find the flights. And if there is any problem with the connecting flight, then you really are in trouble. So Margi Travel wants to provide that functionality to premium customers, that this can be predicted ahead of time. So they have 30 years of data. 20 TB is the total data size. Today we'll be working with only a couple of GBs of the data, and the data is growing with 1 GB per month. That's the growth in data. They also have the, okay, another requirement of this company is they want to analyze, they want to modernize the analysis platform. They want the ability to query the data using SQL. They want to load and store all data in Azure. Use current weather forecast for flight delay prediction, POC for machine learning. Now, in this certification of DP-203, machine learning is not there, meaning there is only one module is there in official DP-203 where machine learning is covered. So it's not zero, but it's a very small percentage. 2 to 5% of the certification is on machine learning. You have to know that. You cannot be just totally not aware of what is a machine learning, because data engineers might be working in the same teams with other data scientists. So they are also looking for web-based visualization platform, and the website which they want to deploy for the premium customer looks like that. So Margi Travel wants that if this website should be you can say published in Azure App Services, and this is if the customer puts to and fro and date and the time and the carrier which uh, you can say which with which they are flying, they can predict the delay and the confidence also. It's possible that confidence is not it's not you can say that this is only 43% confident that there will be a delay, so most likely they might not be a delay, right? So that's one thing. And secondly, if any customer calls the call center, then the internal team should have access to this dashboard. And today we are not deploying Power BI dashboard, we'll skip that part, but we'll be seeing the data engineering part over there. This definitely comes as part of your somewhere in the data engineering job profile. You may have to end up creating the dashboard or connection with the Power BI and so on and so forth, but today it's not, that's not what we are doing. So that's one of the dashboard in Power BI where the customer care team can help the customer appropriately, uh, listening to their requirement, right? So the solution which we are suggesting to Margie Travel is actually here. So don't worry, don't get overwhelmed with this big solution. We are just focusing on one part over there today, and the other requirements are not even from data engineering's point of view. This is for example, uh, the visualization as such might be, you can say, more part of data analyst job profile, and where you also, this is where you have the integration with Azure app services, which is mostly for developers, and this is the Kubernetes or ACI, the container instances, which are basically, they are the, you can say, AKS is the uh, container orchestrator, and ACI is also one location where you can run containers in Azure platform. We can do that. Third-party API integration can also be done. Azure Machine Learning Service. We'll be running some code today. We cannot avoid it, but we'll just have a look at that. We won't spend much time into it. Azure Key Vault is also very important. Security is part of data engineering's job profile, so you have to know about, you can say, when can you integrate virtual network, how will you integrate virtual network, where can you do it, and secondly, what is Key Vault, how to use it, how to put the key there, how to totally use that in the scenario, right? In a nutshell. Azure Monitor is basically an umbrella term where it contains multiple type of monitoring solutions inside that. It contains network watcher, it contains application insights, it contains container monitoring solution, it contains log analytics, and so on and so forth. Many more solutions are there. All together, they are called as network watcher, and one of the very good. It's a pretty solid monitoring solution. Today we are just focusing on this part: data factory, blob storage, and data bricks. And somewhat things will come into picture, but I'll try to focus as much on data engineering as possible. But to be honest, for this webinar, neither my intention is just to you can say, or neither in the trainings which we do during the classroom session, neither do we focus only on uh, just getting certified, because I think certification happens on the way. Certification happens on the way. You just have to go and sit, and you just have to clear the certification one day, and it's the fun part is where is in the learning part. That's where the fun happens, right? In the learning part. So I'll we may end up going beyond the certification boundary today, right? So just hang in with me, and we'll create the Databricks cluster. Let me take you back to Azure Portal, and luckily everything went fine till now, and things have been deployed. So this is the all the resources are deployed, and let's go and just start using them. And I'm going to the resource group, and in the resource group I am launching the workspace. So it goes over here, launch workspace, and just because we anyways are here, let me just quickly launch other things as well. So by the time we reach there, they should be ready for us to use. And I will just quickly see what else do we need. So it seems the authentication is the major problem which we are facing today. And let me try to sign in with another account. I'm not sure why my browser is so persistent uh, upon trying to log me in with the wrong account. Uh, just give me a second. Okay, so this is not the right one. If I just log out from there, okay, let's log out from there and sign out of. Okay, and then let's just launch it again. Or for now, if it doesn't launch, okay, now it took the correct account. That's great. Right, so let's keep it on one side, and I just want to launch my virtual machine also, because virtual machine at times take a long time to log in for the first time. So I just want to hit the virtual machine, and we'll be using it later on, not right now. It says the file cannot be found, so all type of errors are coming today. And basically, Okay, so we are able to log into the virtual machine as well. We'll use it later on, not right now. So let's just minimize it for this point in time and let it log in for the first time. So I was just about to show you how to create the cluster. So if I just come back to my slide deck, we will be creating the cluster in Databricks and we'll be connecting that cluster with blob storage. There are many methods by which you can make blob storage talk to a Databricks cluster. One of the method I'll use today, but that's not the only one. You can also use service principals in Azure. You can use MSIs. You can use interactive authentication also like that. And uh, auth flow can be created. Auth flow, with that we can also interact, we can authenticate and access data from blob storage. I'll just show you one way to do that today, right? One of the ways. So I'll just take you back to my Databricks instance in Azure Portal, and if I just take you back here and let me just quickly create one cluster, create, and we'll just give it a name, cluster. There are three cluster modes: high concurrency, standard, and single node. In production, we basically use the high concurrency one. And right now I'm looking for one particular runtime of 6.4 runtime, because the code is actually depending on that. So if we change the runtime, the code may break. Uh, it may not run as such. And I also will just show you how can you connect your storage account. The one method by which you can connect your storage account with Databricks. So for that, I'm in my secondary screen. I'm just looking for one connection string. That's not the actual connection string. We still have to construct it, but that's the dummy part of it. So if I go back to my storage account, I'll copy the key from there. Now you may argue with me that this method of connecting both of them is not, you can say, pretty secure, because I'm sort of hard coding the key over there. And you will not be wrong in saying that, but this is one of the straightforward method of making sure that my cluster talks to the storage account, and hopefully there is no space over there. If there is any error in this step, we'll come to know in a very later state. You can say maybe 25, 35, or maybe 45 minutes after this point in time, that will end up in one error. So let's see. Okay, apart from that, I also am just uploading some data. Okay, so I'm clicking on this drop over here, and I am, yeah, okay. So the file which I have is right now a zipped file. These are the data files which I want to upload, the same files which I showed you earlier. This is the real data over there. Now there is one trick over here. There is one tip I want to give you. uh, there are multiple software which are available which can be used for unzipping this. Now if you unzip these type of, so a lot of time what happens, because the way using this, the based on the software by which you're unzipping the files, they may end up inserting some white spaces. Those softwares may end up inserting some special characters inside the data, and if that happens, it will be very difficult if you have a big data set to go and find that. It has happened with me before. uh, if I use WinRAR, this particular file which I have over here will throw the error, and the import will fail when I will use the code. So it's just by experience I know that this type of things go wrong. So make sure that you know, so if things are not working out for you during the import part, maybe it's because of the WinRAR, right? So don't use WinRAR. Right now I'm just using default Windows extract all functionality, and I am just gonna use that because this is something which I know will work, and if I use WinRAR it will fail. And I will just go inside that folder, and we'll just upload all the data points, all the the CSV files like that. And if you're wondering what have I uploaded, I just uploaded what I showed you earlier. This one, and that one. That's what I uploaded over there. There is some renaming which I still have to do. I will do that as soon as the upload is successful. Uh, so we just have to wait over here for a couple of more minutes, and I will just launch the Databricks workspace one more time. I actually also want to do one thing parallelly in the cluster. So I don't want to interrupt this because this upload right now. but I'll just open it here. I'll go to my cluster, I'll click on it, and there is a specific Azure machine learning library that I want to add over there, because I'll be running some you can say a binary classification model over there. So it needs Azure ML SDK. So I am just specifying that please install Azure ML SDK for Databricks in the Databricks cluster. So this is one method by which you can install the packages, and once my cluster is ready, this will also get installed after that, and the cluster may come up any second now. It seems to be doing something, so let's give it some more time. And in the meantime, let's see if the upload is still okay. It's not yet done. It is still going on. So what I will do, not to hang in looking at the paint dry, I just want to click on the workspace. I'll click on here, import a URL. I'll import some piece of a couple of notebooks which we want to work with today. So that's the first notebook we'll be going through, and we can only run this once the data has been uploaded. So that part is done, and let me quickly do some the cluster is not visible. Okay, well, that is very unfortunate. The problem is if I refresh the page, this data may get let me try to refresh the page once. Let's see if the data is successfully uploaded in DBFS or not. If it is, then we don't have any problem. We can see it from here. DBFS, file storage, tables, and yeah, okay, that's great. Now the cluster was not visible. That's what that it was saying, because I think the cluster is still not up. Okay, Cortana got enabled because of some reason. Let me quickly close that. Okay, so the cluster is running now, so we should be able to do the next activity. Let me just click on new. The cluster should be visible now. Okay, preview. And this is the section where I have made mistakes earlier as well. When I was practicing, you can say creating this demo or practicing this demo before, I actually made a lot of mistakes there. So I will just very carefully upload my files. And the first one which I have to upload is called as airport code location lookup. Okay, so that rename, so I'm just renaming that particular uh, table. When I'll create the table, I'll rename that. So I'm renaming the CSV file to this particular name. First row is header, and we'll create the table. Right, so this is one table is coming up. We'll create two more tables. Let's go to file storage, tables, flight delay with airport codes. Okay, let's click on it carefully. And you may argue that aren't there better methods to do what I am doing right now? Yeah, why not? There maybe, but this is what we are doing today. So let me just quickly read that file name, flight delay with airport codes. So the new name, if I copy it from my notepad in my secondary screen, it's supposed to be flight underscore weather with airport codes. Flight weather with airport codes. Flight delay, sorry. Oh, I was about to make a mistake over there. I was giving a different file name to a different table, and that would have resulted in some sort of error code later on. So literally it would have the error would have been like the literally the columns are not found. So if that still happens, we'll just go back to this step. We'll delete the old tables and we'll create them again, right? That's one thing we'll be doing if that happens. So hopefully that should go ahead. So this one is called as flight weather with airport codes. Now why are we doing this? Flight weather with airport codes. Okay. The reason we are doing this is because in the code the tables are referred with those names. So either you change the table names here or you change the entire Python scripts, all the Python scripts as such, the 5 notebooks which we have. So I think this is the lower, you can say we can do this, or maybe next time use the same file names as the CSV file. We can use the same table names also. That can be done. So I'll just create the table. I think this is okay. Let's go back to the workspace, to the first data preparation notebook. If everything is fine, uh, let's run it. I'll just say run all, and let's see if it goes ahead, and I'll explain the code in the meantime. So it has executed till 3:9 and seems to be going on. Hopefully it will succeed till the end, and we don't have to. Sorry. So okay, it seems to be going on. Okay, so check this out. Basically, there are a couple of pointers I want you to understand over here. One thing which you need to which I'll just walk you through the code, right? The details may not be very evident or might be overwhelming right now to explain in all the depth. Just get the gist of it, like what is going on. We have 2.7 million rows with us, and out of those 2.7 million rows, 27,444 rows are null values basically. So values are not there. Apart from that, there is some sort of round off problem which is also going on, which we have to handle. And the columns which we require for training the machine learning model, like departure delay and departure delay 15, that boolean value, they are strings. They are supposed to be numeric, so we have to change the schema also at this point. So all these problems has to be resolved. So we'll take up these problems one by one, and if we just go down, we will be sort of you can say dropping the NAs over there. If you see, we are omitting the NAs over here. And one thing which you need to understand is that you can use these magic functions to change the programming language. So some of the like for example, caret library in R is very good. So if you want to use it, you can in the same piece of code you can use various different programming language and the best libraries for that job. That is one functionality which Databricks provides. So what I'm doing over here is the NA part. All the null values are basically uh, omitted over there, and the missing values are omitted over there, and whatever we have left is 2.6 million rows, right? And then we are doing the same thing on the other data set as well, the weather data set, because the other data set is also having a lot of null values. This data set is pretty important from our point of view. It contains the visibility, the weather type, the temperature, and of the air, the wind speed, station pressure, and so on and so forth, pressure change, and all those details are there. So this is one table where we want to spend some time and working on top of it. So finally, once both these tables are, you can say both of them are clean, what we are doing, we'll just do a join over there, and the cleanup weather data, we are joining both of them. So by the end of this snippet, if I just take you right to the main point, I will just say join the inner flights, and we are joining them over here in this step. So there is a new data frame which is a data frame flight delay with weather. The clean data gets created, which doesn't have any missing values, and we are saving that as a table called as flight underscore delay with weather. So this is the name which you should see may pop up here in this table now. This one, flight delay with weather. This one, that's the one which just got created, and we saved it for later purpose, right? So okay, I'll just walk you through the next notebook. Now this is the step where a lot of machine learning will be there. So I'll just do one thing. I'll run it all, and I will sort of just tell you the major gist of it, like what is going on over there in the uh, on the overall uh, notebook as such. I actually have a very good diagram created for you guys. So if I just walk you through the diagram once, I created that in the whiteboard. So okay, so if I just zoom in into this in this diagram, it was supposed to be HD. Let me download this and open it again. So okay, great. So right, so what we have done, we have the DBFS created. We have the Databricks workspace created. We have a cluster also there now. Some nodes are there, notebooks are imported, packages are already installed, storage account is connected with cluster, data is also uploaded. We already have done the data cleaning over here in the notebook number 1, and the second notebook, the second data frame is also clean. We have merged, we have created a new clean data table. Now in the machine learning process, this is where we'll go into a, you can say, a sort of gist of it. So if you see, there are a couple of problems which we are solving parallelly to the machine learning model training. The first is that they are categories as such. So that categorical data, you cannot apply mathematical operations on, you can say, categories as such. So what we are doing, we are encoding it into using one technique called as one hot encoder, which basically creates one index, and then using that string indexer, it basically creates one sparse matrix where a lot of zeros are there and one represent the that particular index. So the LGA, for example, is represented by this one. The second one, which we have MCO, I think, or ORC something, which is by 1 and 1 and 1. So that's called as one hot encoding. This is one of the method which you can use to encode your categorical uh, attributes as such. There is another function, there is another method being used over here called as vector assemble, and this vector assemble basically creates the vector output of the entire matrix, which looks like that. And this is what we are using to this is what we are breaking into 70-30% or 80-20%, or in any other sequence. If you know machine learning, you will be able to work with that. And we basically are doing binary classification on 70% of the data, because we have two classes, 0 and 1. One will be like delay was beyond 15 minutes, and 0 means delay is less than 15 minutes. And with 30% of the data, we are doing uh, the testing of the model. And basically, to this is a binary classification model, so the metric which we are using to uh, you can say check how is it performing is confusion metrics. And confusion metric is basically one of the easier ones to look at, because it creates this crisscross metric where actuals are there on the top and predictions are there on the other axis. So what you can say true, let's say true positives and false positives. You can say true positives and true negatives. With we have the false positives and the all the misclassifications as such. So these green ones are the correct classification of one class or zero class, and the others, the 10, both the 10s which I have over there, that just represent that misclassification happened because of some reason. So uh, it shows the accuracy of the model, like 80 by 100. So it represents the accuracy of the model. Like if the model is, if you try to do the scoring on 100 files, then sorry, 100 observations as such, then how many times it is likely to be, how many times it is likely to be you can say uh, correct, is that what that accuracy is representing right now. I'll just sip some water, right? Sorry, just give me 1 second over here. Okay, so uh, right, having said that, so let's the model is still training, so we cannot proceed beyond this. And cross validation is going on, which will take some time. So basically, with the help of cross validation, you will come to know whether what's the consistency of your model on new data, on unseen data, and secondly, how well your model is performing. So consistent models are better than non-consistent models. So that part is being done right now, and I think this is done. Okay, the model is saved locally um, in DBFS, so it should be somewhere in the DBFS over here by now. If we go to DBFS, DBFS is the local file system of Databricks. DBFS, Databricks file system. So it's in the folder flight delay model. So flight delay model. Okay, so if I just click on that, and let me just see if I can show you some bits and pieces of that. Okay, basically, this is the file path. This one, flight delay model. Now, what we are doing, I will just go to the next note book over here. I will run it because it will also take at least 10 minutes to run. So there are some changes which needs to be done. I have already done that in my. I already have them ready with me. I will just replace it. So the first change which I am doing is I am giving my subscription ID, and this is just one of my demo subscription which will not be valid after this webinar. So it really doesn't matter like that. So that's my subscription ID, and basically that's the unique identifier of my subscription from Microsoft's point of view. The resource group name is that one. I want to create one AML service. Now in Azure, there is a service called as AML service, like for machine learning purpose. One of the good thing which it does is that you can do auto ML over there. Last around 15 days back, I did another webinar on the AML service. So if you are interested in that, please go and have a look at that. Right. So that one is being created over there. And apart from that, I also would like to change the next one to service principal based authentication. I do not want to that interactive authentication because sort of it breaks my run all. So I created one service principal, which is one method by which you can interact with Azure Active Directory and register your application. So this is pretty sensitive information, but I think by the time this video will be, you can say, posted, I'll delete that service principal, so it will not be available for anyone to look at. But yeah, that service principal is something which is having a lot of information right now. Don't worry, I'll delete that. Right? Don't even try. I am also I have just added this extra line over here that we are doing service principal based authentication, so interactive authentication is not required, and I feel that's the uh, that's the major section which I need to change. And there is another thing I just remember that I should remove this delete part. Otherwise, whatever we have created will get deleted in the run all section. Okay, so let me do the run all, and I will explain the code parallelly, right? And we will see whether this goes ahead or gets stuck and what happens. So what we are doing in this particular notebook is we are creating one Azure machine learning service in my subscription, in my resource group. When machine learning service gets created, it creates one container registry, which is like a repository for Docker containers, and it creates log analytics workspace. It also creates key vault, Azure key vault, the for keeping the secure keys, and it will also create one default storage account. So there is some default installation happens along with the uh, machine learning workspace creation. So that is going on right now, and we may be able to see that in one of the lines where it takes a little more time to do. You see this, it's deploying all of it. Application insights, yeah, sorry, not log analytics, I correct myself. Application insights to do the data drift monitoring. Data drift monitoring means like in production when the data changes and your model was trained on the previous data and now the data has changed, so there is a drift between that. So that is data drift monitoring. And key vault, storage account, and so on and so forth, it got created. So the okay, I think interactive authentication. I think I skipped this part. This was supposed to do the service principal based authentication, but I think I didn't. Either it was not supported for this particular method, or maybe it was. Maybe I skipped it. So we could have also done service principal based authentication here to avoid doing the interactive authentication, which means like manually clicking and trying to log in over there. So right, registration of the model has finished. So this means registration of the model means that if I take you to my uh, resource group over there, and if I take you to the AML workspace over here, and if I click on the launch studio, then it should be registered there by now. So let's have a quick look at that. In the meantime, anyways, the container instance will take 10 minutes to deploy, so I have to buy some time in the meantime. So the model should be here in this section. That's the one. So what we did, we sort of registered this model from Databricks into AML AML service, and then what we are doing, we'll one score file will be there in the code, one environment file will be there. This score file basically it contains uh, you can say two functions are there, initialization and run function. Basically initialization loads the pickle model or the saved model into RAM, and the run function takes the API, the data on the you can say the attributes which are coming over the API call in the request, and it puts in an array and just basically do the model.predict and throws the output back. So that's what it does. So we that is mandatory for you to create a Docker container. It should container to containerize your machine learning model. You should have two things. You should have the score file. You should also have the environment file to create the Docker in the first place. So right. So that finally Docker container is running over here in ACI, which is container instance, which is one of the location where you can run your models containers in Azure. You can also deploy this in production in the production grade AKS. So the website I showed you in the starting, remember I showed you that Margie Travel is looking for this type website. We are not doing it right now, but that is something which we do in the training. In case you are coming for the training, that is something which we do deploy there using VS Code. So yeah, I understand that goes beyond the data engineering, but as I was already suggesting to you that uh, getting certified is not the only thing. So during the live classroom training, we try to take it as production grade as possible. Okay, I'll just take you back, and the one of the so this is that score file I was telling you about. That's the initialization, and that's the run function over here. So okay, so the ACI must be getting deployed. This will take a long time, at least 10 minutes. So we okay. In the meantime, what we'll do, we'll carry on with the next part of the Margie Travels problem statement, and we'll solve that part, the next part, right? So I'll just take you back to my slide deck. There is no point sitting here and looking at that getting registered. So with Databricks, you can also do this is where I we were there, right? And Databricks is basically can be used by data engineers and data scientists both to do. It can integrate with other services of Azure. We can also do ML flow, machine learning integration can be done, AML integration, which I just showed you. That's really what that means. TensorFlow integration. Sorry, you can bring your own runtimes, PyTorch, TensorFlow, scikit-learn, and it can have many more functionalities over there. Databricks can also be used in case you have Apache Kafka based streams, or if you have Event Hub based stream, or if you have stream analytics, you can also use Spark streaming concept of Databricks and run your jobs on real stream of data. So that is also another functionality of Databricks. It also does, right? You can we did this part. This is going on actually right now. The data blob storage was connected to Databricks, and the model registration is going on in the AML service, and then the trained model will go in the containers over there. Let's go to the next part of the problem statement where data factory comes into picture. Data factory is the ETL versus is the pipeline where you can create the ETL and ETL pipelines. Sorry, ETL and ELT pipelines. This is basically used for batch mode ingestion of data, right? So let me take you to data factory and let's practically start doing it. It will take us some time to do that deployment. So what I will do, there are many things we need to do right now. So we want to pull data from on-premise. So this VM is what is representing that on-premise location. I just want to disable the server level firewall over here. So I can show you how to. Okay, so what I'm doing, this VM is on-premise, right? That's what we are assuming. Now we have to install one agent there. So to install that agent, we will just That agent is basically called as integration runtime. It will not be correct to say say literally it as an agent, but it's called as ADF, self-hosted IR, which basically will uh, which basically is this small software. Not this one. I think I should say download there. Okay, so download a self-hosted IR, and that's the correct link, and we will install this. After installation, we have to connect this with data factory. We have to do some metadata handshaking, right? So we'll do it on the way. I'll just click on download integration runtime. I'll say next. 775 MB, so it was not that small, but this machine is pretty powerful, so it should get downloaded within a couple of seconds, and as soon as it comes up, we'll just say run. What I'll do, I'll take it to my data factory. There I'm going on the manage section. I will click on new over here, no, and then I'll say cross. I will click on integration runtime new, self-hosted, continue, self-hosted, which means that I'm pulling data from on-premise. Let's give it a proper name. So let's type self-hosted there, and okay, name is available. We'll click on it. We will copy the connection string, this part. This we will give it inside that tool once it installs. So for now, let's yeah, okay. So let's just install it, and we'll save that particular key somewhere, so we don't forget to do that. So this is one step which is we will do it as soon as possible when it gets installed. And I just want to extract some data. So the scenario which we are trying to do is that we are pulling data from on premises, right? So when you're pulling data from on premises, you need to have data on premises, and this machine is a vanilla machine which I just created in front of you. So I am downloading some data which I can later on assume to be on prem and pull it from there and work with it. So it's it's just taking some, I think there is some lag because there is some lag over there. Okay, now I just want to extract this, and I want to extract this in the C drive, because that's the same path I will give it later on. So let's see if I can just go to this PC, if it let me go there, and let's create another folder in the C drive if it opens up, and we'll call it as data folder. Okay, and that looks fine, and we'll extract it inside that. So some files get extracted there. We'll take care of it in some time. So great. If the IR is still taking some time to install, we have to wait for that to finish. Actually, I can still do couple of steps. So let me see if I can close this for now and click on home. I want to copy my data. It was throwing one error. I think you saw it. So we'll say copy pipeline and schedule, run it, because Margie Travel is getting 1 GB of data every month. So we'll give it 1 there, and we want to run it at 0th hour, at 0th minute. So in the midnight it will run, and yeah, this is where I need that. So I cannot do it beyond that now. So let me walk you through the slide deck in the meantime, or if it is done, I'll just say finish. And great. So let's copy this from here. Let's put it there, and we'll say register. And finish. Skip any unnecessary steps which we don't need. And this should work. So let's have a look at the slide deck in the meantime. So we are actually doing the data factory creation right now. This one. Data factory basically contains linked services. That's basically like it's like connection strings, connection configuration. Data set is another component of data factory where that's the metadata. Activities are there which are logically they do things, and these activities together are called as pipelines. So then we trigger these pipelines and they do some thing on basically a schedule or maybe on an event as such. See, it's doing some sort of data transformation in the slide deck. Pretty interesting graphics which we have over there. The parameters are again useful for you can say passing values around, and it also contains integration runtime. That's the main functionality. And in data factory there is another thing which you need to learn from the certification, from certifications point of view, called as data flows. Data flows are you can say GUI based transformation, where when you run it, it compiles into a Spark program and it runs in the uh, in a cluster called as data flow cluster, which is again Spark cluster, and it executes there. So GUI based transformation is called as data flow. In a nutshell, that's how you can put it. So if I take you back to my machine, okay. So integration runtime is done. We are done with the on-premise VM. We don't need to look at that anymore. We are pulling the data from a file system. So we'll search for file system here, and it's saying nothing is found. So let's correct the spelling. And file server, that's a great name. Let's select the correct IR. It says it is not able to find it. Actually I don't want to refresh the page. I think it when I will say next, it will be able to find it, because I saw the green status in the virtual machine, and I think it's just because the page is not refreshed, but it is not letting me test the connection. So we have to cancel this and do it again. So oh sorry, schedule once every month. Come on, let's do it a little quickly, right? I am pretty sure you guys are bored looking at all this, but from both the points, so you sort of have to do this. So connection configuration, file system, and now continue self-hosted IR. Now it will pick up. So there is nothing which we sort of changed over there. We just gave the we just gave it again. So let's test the connection. It works. Okay, great. So let's continue. And we have to pull the file from there. So we need to select the correct file. So if I do next here, they may ask me for the file. Yeah, this one, that one. That's enough. That's enough. Don't select the folder. I want all of that to be selected later on. So let me just give the flight over here, and it didn't show anything. Okay, come on. Okay, load all files. That's fine. Recursively max concurrent connection. That really doesn't matter right now, but let's say 10 concurrent connection. And first row is header. It's not loading. First row is header. Compression type, we don't have any compression there. The text format CSV file, I think it looks fine. If it doesn't run, we'll come back, we'll troubleshoot it, right? So destination is blob storage over here, and in this blob storage I'll say self-hosted IR, Azure pass, that one, and I think that's fine. So we want the files to get recursively created, so we want the folders to also get created on the way in the destination, in the sync location. So I'm just giving this expression over here. It will create the year by year and month by month folder over there when it pulls the data every month, right? That's how it will do. And in the name of the file, we'll say this file year format is YYYY, and copy behavior, merge the file, don't create new files. Max concurrent connection, let's give it 10 again. So it's supposed to pull that 2.75 million sorry, the delta rows, the 1 GB of delta files, uh, which we get every month in some sort of quick manner. So max rows per file comma delimited, I think this is fine. Data consistency verification, skip incompatible rows. I don't want any logging right now, let's skip it. Degree of parallelism, again let's give it 10. And data integration unit is basically how much resources it should pump at the backend, that's enough. And let's click on create. So we are creating that uh, ETL. This is basically EL and then T will happen later on. So I forgot to do one thing. I'll just click on edit and I will just take you to my pipeline. Click on it and we'll just go down. We'll say retry 3. So if something goes wrong, don't fail on the first go, fail fail after 3 retry. That's what we are giving over there. After that, I want to run 2 notebooks. Uh, Basically, these notebooks are the one where we are sort of, you can say, doing the batch prediction on the machine learning model. And to make this work, I actually have to go back to my Databricks, click on Workspace, click on User Settings, generate one token, and let's say, let's give a name token itself. Now this also showing on the screen is pretty, we can say not recommended, but I think that by the time I this video will be seen by you guys, all these resources will be deleted. So you don't have to think much about that. So I'll just go to my Databricks. I'll say new connection, and I just want to run that from here. So subscription, pass, Databricks, my workspace, cluster, access token. I just copied that, pasted it here. Cluster should load. Let's connect the cluster. So looks correct to me. And basically what I'm doing is from data factory, I'm trying to trigger the pipeline in Databricks. So if we go here, we should see the notebook where we are doing the batch prediction, which is in this folder. So looks like that, batch scoring. And in this one, I just want to summarize the outputs which came. So this is also just to show you that you can run multiple stages or steps in the pipeline. So explore data. Okay, done. Now before we execute that, we just want to go back and see, is it done till now? Like what is going on here? Is the model trained or not? So it says command, yeah, command executed, right? So that's the link of ACI. You see this one. It's literally publicly accessible right now. You can do the API call to this and my model will tell you whether the flight was delayed or not delayed. Uh, there is some changes which we will be doing in the next commands. The name of the storage account, we'll give it here. Before we trigger from ADF, we need to do this. Otherwise, it will throw. It basically is looking for that. This is the step I told you in the starting, that if my connection string was not right in the very starting when I connected Databricks with the storage account, then this step will throw error here at this point. So this is what I was telling you, that we may end up having the error later on. Let me just have a look at the next notebook as well. So this is where we are just summarizing it all. So great. We don't have to do that part today. We will just come here. We'll say trigger now, and the start value. We are giving a time in past, like we are giving it from 2017. This pipeline should trigger from that point in time. So let me see, is it running or not? And in the meantime, I'll just sip some water and we'll just watch this data factory pipeline trigger. because that's the basically the end of the session today, and we'll just go through a couple of more topics which we have, and then we'll do the quiz section and we'll wind up after that. And okay, so to have a look at the yeah, or we may spend more time if it fails over here, right? We'll start troubleshooting it. Okay, I didn't publish it, so it's not it's not showing that to me. Yeah. So so what happens if you did git integration over there, the ADF will just basically convert into ARM template and will get stored in ADF in your Azure repo or GitHub account as well. But right now I don't have any git integration, which you can do from this step over here, git integration. So I published the pipeline and now I have to trigger it again because I didn't publish, so it didn't had the two notebooks which I dropped. It only had the copy part. So which executed successfully. We can see it from the monitoring section that success was there. And now this is the new one running where it should be having 3 steps. Okay, so we just have to wait here. And in the meantime, let me take you to my Excel, sorry, slide deck, and check out the other components which we are not solving today. We'll just go through it. So this company is also looking for that website creation, which is totally possible. You can deploy that. Secondly, the company is also looking for Power BI integration, where we are recommending use Azure SQL, not the warehouse, because we have to create the otherwise we have to create serving layer on top of it to make it more performant. And Azure SQL is pretty, you can say basically it's a relational database, so reads are very fast, and and we also recommend using Key Vault. Key Vault is basically for you can say hardware security module. It contains two pricing as such. First pricing is called as standard pricing, and where the encryption happens at the software layer, and the second one is called as premium pricing, where the encryption happens. The key encryption key goes in the HSM. So the machine learning operationalization is also done, not really required for DP-203, but there will be one module in your certification focusing on that. So be aware of it and remember that. We are also talking about this is basically a Lambda architecture. In big data, you will have two popular architectures, Lambda and Kappa architecture. And Lambda architecture, if you can see there is a top a stream layer and serving, and in the bottom batch layer. So the top layer is basically the hot path, and the bottom one is the cold path. So if you want reports to be generated in real time with very less you can say delay, then it basically will be the top path. But your customer will get the report, but it will not be very in depth. And the bottom part is the batch layer. So there is one architecture called as Delta Lake architecture, which further builds on top of you can say Lambda architecture. In Delta Lake, which basically Delta Lake is an open source storage layer that brings the asset compliance to Spark and to, and this is totally supported in Synapse and totally supported in Databricks also. So it's supported by Scala, Pi, Spark, .NET, and what happens over here is that Delta Lake is built on top of HDFS or Azure Data Lake Storage account or blob storage. And there are 3 types of tables which we generally create there: bronze, silver, and gold. Bronze means the raw data. The JSON files are there. It can have relational databases data as well. You may also getting some data from IoT sensors. In the silver table, the data is more refined, and it is basically used for where you have enriched, where you have you can say in where you have sort of combined couple of the bronze tables, and you have you can say refined tables on top of it. Now gold is the business, is the data which is ready for you can say business level aggregation is over there. That this is where you will create, mostly will be used, you'll have the website users, weekly sales per store, or any final table as such where aggregated data is there for reporting and dashboarding. So apart from this, from your certification, you also just need to know about the the modern data warehousing using Azure Synapse, which basically Azure Synapse contains multiple inbuilt things over there. There is a thing called as SQL serverless pool, which basically where we create external tables and they point to the data in ADLS and you run queries on top of it. Synapse Spark is also there, like on-demand serverless Spark. And Synapse pipeline is equal to Data Factory pipeline, which I told you today. So they both are same. Databricks, you already know what that is. And we also have SQL pool, dedicated SQL pool. That's the full name. And dedicated SQL pool is basically the warehouse as such, where we have the massive parallel architecture and where you have the compute layer and the storage layer, and the compute is 1 to 60 nodes are there, and in storage layer 60 nodes are there. So it sort of create that warehouse, right? And for visualization, you can use Power BI anytime when you want. Now we uh, before going forward, let me just quickly take you to the demo which I had, and let me see, is it successful or is it, did we got any error over there, or it's not even running? Oh, perfect. So if just to show you how does it look like, if you click on it, you click on the URL, you will see the output here. So this is the data which is, you can say, which is finally summarized and everything is ready, and we just need to create a Power BI dashboard on top of it. Everything is up to the mark, and just integrate with Power BI and create dashboard. So how is that dashboard going to look like? That dashboard is a problem we'll solve another day, but that's how it looks like, right? Pretty straightforward dashboard where number of delays, or you can say airport codes are there for origin, and number of delays by day of month. This gets created. Now, if you still have strength, I'll just tell you about the certification. In DP-203 certification, you will be focusing on, you can say, multiple things as such. And the old certifications are already are going to DP-200, 201. Now, DP-203 certification basically, uh, you can say, it's around 45% or maybe 50% more than the previous one. So it's a different beast altogether, which you have to handle and work with. Other things you can definitely go for are data scientist certifications. You can go for data analyst. You can start with the fundamentals, the data fundamentals or Azure fundamentals. You can start with the developer certificates and so on and so forth. Now, what do? We, as I was mentioning in the starting, I also personally give trainings as such. So apart from consulting, so this is where we are coming up. We have these weekend batches going on. So there is a batch on DP100 which is starting from next week, June 5th. DP100 stands for Azure Data Scientist. Where, and if you want to look at what you are expecting in that certification, watch my previous webinar which I did around 10 to 15 days back. The next one is DP203, which will start from July 3rd. 204, the developer one, will start from July 31st. And the upcoming webinar is on AZ204, which is on 15th June. So join us over there. And in that webinar, we basically are focusing on full stack Azure development, and we will see how do you work with that. So those who join us for the instructor-led programs will also get, you can see the sessions are on weekend. It's not always 4 week. I need to make the correction in the slide deck, but basically the trainings are of different duration, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, and beyond. We provide official curriculums from Microsoft. We provide Azure subscriptions as well. All we provide learn on demand, the labs where the labs can be done over there. Practice sets are also given. Post training support is also there. We provide the quizzes. We provide the WhatsApp support. I personally mentor and make sure that you learn things and you absorb things, and then you definitely get certified as well on the way. So apart from that, today we so those who are interested can go through, just this is the details over here in the chat window. You can go through the you can call us over here, you can drop us a mail, you can just reach out to me on LinkedIn, you can just direct message me and I'll connect to the right team. And now before you guys go away, let's come back to the agenda. We basically are we are distributing 10 ebooks and 3 printed books, 13 total. And there is a quiz I will be sharing in the chat window now, and you have to go through you have to answer that quiz in next 1 hour. And most probably by tomorrow evening I should be able to go through the results of the quiz, and I will announce the quiz winners on the LinkedIn page of my company Tech Scalable. And I think that should work by the time. And I'll also will also be giving 2 certification voucher which you can redeem to get certified as well, right? So a lot of giveaways are there. So the quiz goes in the chat window, and please answer that. And in case some of you look at the quiz later on, imagine let's say you are watching this video later on and you have no idea the quiz already went through. So what I'll do, I'll just create one bit.ly link, and that bit.ly link is basically what I will oh sorry, I'll create. So those who are just want to see the questions but not interested, or maybe you are interested in training and so on and so forth, you can just hit that bit.ly link in the browser. The form will be is a is a Microsoft form. It will be available for a couple of days. You can answer those questions and learn about it. The questions are not on just on the topics which I covered today. So you have 1 hour to find the answers and be the winner of the quiz. So feel free to reach out to us on LinkedIn. Feel free to reach out to me. Uh, if you're interested, join me for the trainings. We'll go in depth in all the things we have talked about and way beyond. We do multiple case studies and so on and so forth, right? So give the quiz, and I'll see you in the next session. If there is any question for me, you can message me. You can tell me uh, on the post, or any you can literally use LinkedIn for that, right? So I'll be ending the stream now, and I'll see you in the next session. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Kopal. Uh, and so enjoy your weekend, guys. Stay safe. Stay at home, and keep on learning. Bye bye.